87% of catastrophic engine failures may be avoided. In case you were unaware, with only 13 easy behaviors, I was able to get my car to reach 700,000 miles. Bad habits are what destroy engines, not them. And even if yours is already broken, you may begin repairing it now. Let's get started. The 5,000-mile rule is habit number 13. As oil producers and dealers like to assert, 15,000 miles on synthetic is perfectly okay. However, it is marketing jargon. This is the rule that I abide by. After 1,000 miles on brand new engines, do your first oil change. This removes metal shavings that were left behind during a manufacturing break-in. After that, replace it every 6 months or every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, whatever comes first. Never continue. You'll be grinding metal on metal before you ever hear a sound if you ignore this. I have seen thick sludge that resembled black asphalt. Examine your oil filter, cut it apart, look for metal in the pleats, and then shine a flashlight into the drain pan if you change your own oil. Internal wear has already started when there is a metallic sheen. Forget about phony claims and lab testing. This is how cars are really cared for. Max, don't go beyond 5,000 miles or 6 months. It's the simplest method of avoiding an unexpected $12,000 repair charge. The one oil rule is habit number 12. The first step is to change your oil. Is the oil being used correctly? Your engine is kept alive by it. Far too many individuals just buy whatever is inexpensive. A huge error. Your engine is able to distinguish between different types of oil. Let's dissect it. It's hardly a coincidence when you see anything like 5W30. The oil's flow is shown by the 5W. The W is flowing in winter. Cold starts benefit from lower numbers, since they indicate thinner oil in the cold. It maintains a thickness of 30 at working temperature. Congratulations if you put in 10-140 when your car needs 5-30. You've just experimented with flow rates and overworked your oil pump. Although conventional oil is less expensive, it degrades more quickly. In very frigid temperatures, synthetic materials flow better, endure longer, and withstand heat. This makes it ideal for those who want to drive their car to 500,000 miles or beyond, as well as for current engines and turbos. A compromise is provided by synthetic mixtures. Long-term, they're not the best, but they work well for older engines that leak. Consult the owner's handbook. Avoid putting your confidence in the child at the quick lube. And never guess due to the incorrect oil. It affects more than just performance. Engines are killed by it. Let's now discuss something that only astute drivers never overlook. The leak trap is the 11th habit. Let me say this out. The concept of a little oil spill does not exist. That little trickle you're ignoring, the clock is ticking. I've seen a $30 gasket leak into an engine repair costing $4,000. One man thought his 1988 Camry's valve cover leak was a simple seep. His timing belt was drenched 6 months later. All of the engine's valves were twisted and slipped. Leaks of oil do more than simply cause chaos in your driveway. They soak electrical contacts, destroy rubber belts, and destroy oxygen sensors. Additionally, you run the danger of a fire if oil spills onto hot engine components like the exhaust manifold. This is when the cunning comes in. Oil is burned by modern engines, particularly tiny turbocharged ones. Your oil level is decreasing while you're preoccupied with avoiding that leak. It's too late by the time the light turns on. You're at least a quart below your current level. I would suggest using a flashlight, crawling below, smelling burning oil, and looking for crusty buildup on the block. Your cue is take care of it early. Compared to replacing an engine, it is less expensive. Silent oil murderers made up the first 3. Let's now examine everyday routines that covertly damage engines. 10th habit, the warm-up period. You're murdering your engine if you're the kind of person who hops in, turns it on, puts it in drive, and then flooring it. Engine wear occurs 90% of the time during cold starts, which are cruel. Why? Because cold oil has a molasses-like consistency. Circulation takes a minute, particularly in cold weather. In the meanwhile, your engine's components, piston, camshaft, and bearings are grinding against one another while wailing for oil that hasn't arrived yet. Even badder engines with turbochargers, they detest dry starts and may spin it up to 200,000 RPM. These are the things I have been telling my clients for decades. Before you drive, let your engine run at a low RPM for the first 5 to 10 minutes and let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds. No flooring it, no racing, and no towing. Simply let everything to warm up: coolant, transmission fluid, and oil. Warming up is sensible and not outdated, particularly if you want your engine to last at least 500,000 miles. After that warm-up, however, what should you do? Here's how most drivers make a huge mistake. The 9th habit is the myth of idleness. You don't have to sit there idle for 10 minutes like you're operating a generator just because I instructed you to warm up your engine. Cold revving is equally as dangerous as excessive idling. This is the reason your engine cannot achieve its ideal temperature quickly enough if you idle it for an extended period of time. This indicates that gasoline does not burn cleanly, resulting in a harmful carbon buildup in the intake valves and combustion chamber, particularly when it comes to direct injection engines, which are found in many contemporary Fords, Hyundais, and Volkswagens. You do nothing except let those stuff sit around all day. Even worse, your oil pressure remains low throughout extended periods of inactivity. This indicates that upper-end components such as lifters and cams aren't receiving the necessary flow. That eventually results in sludge and premature wear. In the cold, you don't need a remote start that sits idle for 20 minutes. With the engine idling in the heat, you don't need to operate the air conditioner for half an hour. Smartly warm it up. Start, then drive softly for 30 to 60 seconds at a standstill. The sweet place is that please like, and subscribe if this straightforward automotive advice is helpful to you so you don't miss the next one. The eighth habit is the PCV valve bomb. Engines are ruined because most drivers don't even know what a PCV valve is. Ignoring this $10 element might result in damage exceeding $2,000. Positive crankcase ventilation is referred to as PCV. It is a small valve that returns pressure and blow-by gases from the crankcase of your engine to the intake where they will be burnt off. Easy. However, pressure builds up when it clogs, and it will clog. This pressure may even blow out the rear main seals or shatter the valve cover. It also damages gaskets, fouls spark plugs, and pushes oil past seals. I've seen oil starvation problems brought on by vacuum leaks from a PCV valve that was left open, and engines where sludge accumulated like chocolate pudding due to a jammed PCV valve. Every 30,000 to 50,000 miles or sooner, if you travel often on short excursions or see oil leaks beginning in unexpected places, you should replace the PCV valve. Most cars can be swapped in 5 to 15 minutes, and it's inexpensive insurance for a healthy engine. Even after replacing the PCV, you may still be perplexed by your poor fuel economy. You've probably been ignoring this next important sensor for years. The seventh habit, the secret of the MAF sensor. Your MAF sensor may be dirty if your car seems slow, idles rough, or uses more petrol than it used to. Furthermore, that does not imply that it is broken. Most likely, it only needs to be cleaned. Your engine can appropriately balance fuel by using the mass airflow sensor to determine how much air is entering. The reading is thrown off when it is unclean, which may happen from dust, oil vapors, and grime. Your engine will start to operate poorly if you have too much or too little gasoline. I've saw people spend hundreds of dollars changing injectors, coils, and plugs when all it would have taken was 5 minutes and a $7 can of MAF cleaning. Brake cleaner should not be used. Steer clear of carb spray. Make use of CRC MAF clean. Unplug the sensor, take it out, lightly mist it, allow it to air dry, and then put it back in. Do not touch the sensor wires, please. They have sensitivity. Do this every 12 months or 15,000 miles, particularly if you use oiled air filters or drive in dusty environments. Speaking about airflow, let's go on to one of the most foolish locations where people take shortcuts. The sixth habit is the air filter scam. Like you, your engine breathes air. Are you putting it via a garbage or clogged filter? It's like trying to jog while holding a cloth in your mouth. A filthy air filter disrupts your fuel-to-air ratio, stifles airflow, and reduces performance. This translates to lower MPG, a slow throttle, and carbon accumulation in your intake and valves. I have actually removed filters from cars that resembled rat nests, shredded insulation, foam, and seeds. One customer's airbox was home to a mouse. The bargain bin's $5 nameless filters don't seal properly. They release sand and dust, which kills engines. You're wearing down the cylinder walls and piston rings after running that long. My recommendation: use Bosch, Wix, Frame Ultra, K&N, or OEM filters if they have been cleaned correctly. Every 15,000 to 30,000 miles or sooner, if you're in a dusty region, replace them. Here's a hint too. Expose it to a light source. Throw it away if you can't see light through it. When it's time to light that air, what happens? Let's just say that utilizing the incorrect part is like using a damp match to spark a blaze. The quality of the spark that ignites your engine determines its performance, regardless of whether you drive a Civic or a Corvette. Additionally, you run the risk of misfires, poor fuel efficiency, and long-term engine damage when you install garbage plugs from an unknown manufacturer. Spark plugs are more than just plugs. They regulate pollutants, burn efficiency, and even the timing of combustion. If you cut corners, your engine may run rough at idle, misfire under load, or generate codes like P0300, P0301, and others. Customers who come in with ticking engines have been discovered to be using 2 Belder plugs from a petrol station. After replacing them with the appropriate NGK, Denso, or OEM plugs, the engine functioned well. Platinum or iridium tip plugs are required for the majority of contemporary engines. These can withstand high heat, burn cleanly, and stay longer. Unless they are pre-gapped from the manufacturer, always gap them to specification and replace them every 60,000 to 100,000 miles depending on your make and model. Spend an additional $20 now rather than $1,500 later to replace catalytic converters, coils, or worse. Steer clear of companies like Autolite or mystery eBay bargains. What occurs, however, when something still seems strange? Most individuals overlook this warning until it's too late. The fourth habit: put an end to disregarding the check engine light. That little amber glow? Yes, it isn't a recommendation. Your car is alerting you to a problem. Before I brake for real, fix it immediately. I've seen folks driving with the check engine light on for months at a time. The engine sounds good, doesn't it? After that, the catalytic converter burned, the pistons were charred, the sensors were shot, and the gearbox became stuck in limp mode. They disregarded it. These are a few of the most typical codes I see, along with their true meanings. Putting P07E4 or P0171. Too lean an engine, fuel, or air issues. P0300. Coils, plugs, or fuel problems are often the cause of sporadic or frequent misfires. P0301 through P0301 through 01 through 8 misfired. P0420. Efficiency of the catalyst system is below. You have a shot catalytic converter or something similar. P0455 or P0440. A damaged purge valve or a loose gas cap might be the source of an EVAP system leak. P0113. A high intake air temperature sensor might negatively impact the fuel mixture. P's coolant temperature below the cutoff. A jammed thermostat results in wear and low fuel efficiency. P0325. Malfunctioning knock sensor. If you stop adjusting your timings, you run the danger of being knocked down. P0133 or P0153. A blocked CAT or malfunctioning sensors are the causes of a slow oxygen sensor response. If ignored, each of these codes may go from being a $50 remedy to a $2,000 catastrophe. This is what I say to everyone. Purchase a low-cost OBD2 scanner. They currently cost around $25. Take it to a genuine shop, plug it in, check the coding, or repair it early. The timing belt bomb is habit number 3. Pay attention to me. A timing belt doesn't alert you when it snaps, it just pops, and your engine turns from a healthy one to scrap metal in a split second. Additionally, when that belt breaks, the valves and pistons collide if your car has an interference engine, as many have. Bent valves, damaged camshafts, shattered pistons, and at least $2,500 to $5,000 in damage. I've seen that several times. When is it replaced then? Consult the handbook every 60,000 to 100,000 miles depending on your car. Better yet, consult an experienced mechanic. Here's a list of typical cars whose engines may be destroyed by a failing timing belt. Honda Civics and Accords, 1990s, 2000s, early 2000s, Toyota Tacoma V6 and 4Runner, 2.5-liter non-turbo Subaru Outback and Legacy models. Gallant Chrysler Dodge and Mitsubishi Lancer, 2.7, replace the water pump, tensioner and idler pulleys while you're in there. 7.0-liter V6, notorious belt snappers. The labor has already been paid for. Now don't be cheap. Avoid becoming a person who waits for a sign. The quiet engine that refuses to start is the sole indication. Either replace it before it breaks or pay a hefty price when it does. The following one seems innocuous, even typical. The second habit is the short trip killer. I'm referring about everyday trips when the engine never heats up completely. Errands that are 1 to 3 miles long, including school drop-offs and shopping runs. Your engine oil never reaches its maximum working temperature, which is around 210 degrees Fahrenheit, when you repeatedly do so. This implies that moisture, fuel vapors, and combustion byproducts cannot be burned off. As a result, condensation forms within the engine, combining with gasoline and oil to form a milky sludge that clogs PCV systems and coats internal components. You won't notice it immediately, but in a few months, you'll have engine varnish, stuck lifters, and rusted internals. I once destroyed a Toyota that had just 80,000 miles on it and had been used for short trips throughout its existence, but it seemed to have been driven for 300,000 miles without an oil change. This is the solution. Once or twice a week, take your car for a nice 15 to 20-minute drive on the highway. Stop assuming that less driving equates to less wear. Get it hot and let the oil do its work. If you really want to wear down your engine quickly, disregard the previous piece of advice, since half-warmed engines wear out more quickly. The first habit is the overload effect. You don't drive a dump truck. It isn't designed to move concrete, bricks, or anything in your cousin's apartment. Each car has a rating for gross car weight. That is the maximum weight that your car can securely accommodate, including people, goods, and liquids. You're making things more stressful if you go above that. The frame, the engine, the gearbox, the suspension, and the brakes. I once had a man fill his 4-cylinder Toyota Corolla with 10 bags of cement. In first gear, that little engine was screaming, and guess what? A week later, the radiator split, the engine overheated, the head gasket blew, and the transmission began to slide. All because he handled his car as like it were a moving van. This is the result of overloading. The engine works harder and runs hotter. The cooling system can't keep up, fuel efficiency drops, the gearbox overheats, and the brakes deteriorate more quickly. Additionally, be honest whether you drive a little car or light SUV. Don't haul more than it is designed to handle. Don't assume you're simply walking down the street with a trunk full of equipment and 6 people in it. Verify the maximum payload and tow ratings on your door sticker. Be mindful of those figures, or prepare to replace the components that you wore out too quickly. You have earned the secret that has kept my 50 alive for more than 20 years if you have stayed this long, and the majority of drivers totally ignore it. The coolant scam is bonus tip number 1. Despite what your owner's handbook may tell you, coolant is not a permanent fluid. Ignore the 100,000 miles. That is a foolish wager that will result in a $1,000 disaster. This is the harsh reality. Even long-lasting blue, orange, or pink coolants degrade. They become acidic after 5 years of harsh heat cycling, and that acid kills your engine silently. Blown head gaskets, blocked heater cores, chewed-up seals, and rotted water pumps. Every additional mile you take is a gamble. Observe misfires, white smoke in the exhaust, and coolant disappearing completely. Your engine is screaming because it is being eaten alive from the inside out by that neglected coolant. Replace the thermostat every 50,000 to 80,000 miles while you're at it. The whole coolant flow is controlled by the inexpensive tiny valve. Your motor will be fried in a matter of minutes if you let it stick shut. Thus, disregard the optimistic claims made about lifelong antifreeze. Every 50,000 miles or every 5 years, flush your coolant. While you are inside, change the thermostat. Coolant is inexpensive, engines are expensive, but thermostats are not. Before your car pleads for help, change them. The second bonus suggestion is to clean the throttle body every 50,000 miles. Slow acceleration, harsh idle hunting RPMs, and sticky throttle response. The throttle plate is being blocked by carbon gunk. Fuel waste and stressed components are the result of the engine's inability to breathe properly. The computer in your car attempts to make up for it by adjusting the fuel and idle airflow, which just causes further problems. Hesitancy, stumbling, and misfires. You should thus clean it before you become aware of the symptoms. Crack open the throttle body, remove the carbon, and maintain a smooth airflow every 50,000 miles. It just takes a few minutes, costs very little, and ultimately saves you hundreds of dollars. Knowing how to avoid expensive engine damage with these 13 wise practices